Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SmarkTank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. I am your returning host, Joey, because it's all mine and not yours, business. And I'm brought along my lovely cohort, Mr. Sexual Chocolate himself.
Indeed. Mr. Donnie, wonderful. Reunited and it feels so good. Ladies and gentlemen, now, this is our first recorded of 2024. Happy New Year, MLK birthday, whatever.
Happy Chinese New Year, all that. And Donnie, what do you want to talk about?
Well, the time of recording, this is a Friday night. We just finished watching, getting caught up on SmackDown. And the very last thing we viewed was the last thing that they aired, which was the Bloodline promo. I seem to have loved this promo. You seem to be underwhelmed. Could you tell us why?
I was definitely underwhelmed. Felt like The Rock playing the hits, just kind of going through the catalog of past references and things like that. You know, and him be like, shut your mouth, fatty, and all that. Like, it just felt like low-hanging fruit. I do like the idea of this super bloodline. However, I wanted more bite to it. I think someone should have came out and, interrupted the promo to end the show, but it just ended with them straight standing tall and telling them to shut their mouth and, put a McNugget here, put a McNugget there, and...
But don't you think that formula is a little played where you have the heel or the baby face, they're making their compelling arguments in their promos, and then the music hits and they're interrupted from someone speaking to them from at the when they started doing this, it was at the top of the ramp. Now it's down the aisle. I actually, and I know I kind of phrased this as a question, but it was more rhetorical. I actually love the fact that they had a State of the Union address and it was uninterrupted, except for the trailer trash. He said it, not me. The trailer trash of Salt Lake City. I love you, Salt Lake. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to be there next week, but I'll be there in April, I promise. Donnie Wonderful's coming to clean up the mess that The Rock left, because you're not all trailer trash. But he said not all of you.
No, he said, when you're all individual, it's okay. But when you get them in a collective, it's the biggest collection or bunch of dumb he's seen. But, let's just address The Rock's ring attire. He came out looking like Jafar from Aladdin tonight. Like, the man was on point, but he's giving you a new amalgamation of the Hollywood Rock, the corporate Rock, and now you're getting the boardroom Rock. He even alluded to it in the promo, which I thought was great, when he said, I'm going to do everything in my power. Now, The Rock is the power of the WWE now. And that needs me to see, I think we're going to get another Triple H promo, possibly next week, being like, the power, huh? Well, Rock. And I think there's so many wrinkles that they can play with here. And I toy with going back and forth. Roman feels premium. Roman is a champion. Roman is the champion. I will not argue that.
Finally.
I just don't understand. Cody, I adore Cody Rhodes, first of all. I do. I love them both. But Cody Rhodes is long overdue. I would have rather he pivoted last year, and when this new belt was created, gone for this, because if you job him twice in the same event, back-to-back years, I just don't think by the time they're willing to finish the story, anyone's going to care about it. And I think they've painted them into a corner. Terrible right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I laugh because it's like the man who, and that's the SmarkTank Revolution dog, Brady.
Yep.
The man who had fun partying and then is complaining about the hangover. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go back to our catalog, roughly about 300 and some odd days ago, when Roman retained at WrestleMania,
I was elated.
The Taunton tribal chief at the time that was living elsewhere in Massachusetts, but yet, he had the Cody Rhodes t-shirt on, the Nightmare sweater on, yet that man jumped for joy as if he hit the lottery when that 1, 2, 3 count came and Roman retained. But now today, he's saying, in retrospective, a year later, that he would have rather had Cody win the title then, which I said. So, it may take a while. The spear has been thrown in the sand. The Red Seas have been parted. He just takes a while to sprint across it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and by the way, please, because we got to say this now, please like the video. Please, we're trying to entertain you all. We don't do it for our health. Yeah, we kind of do, but still, please like the video and accept our invitation to subscribe to the channel. Now, as I was saying,
please engage with your thoughts too.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it when you guys come from my neck on these comments, because you guys have some interesting, compelling takes to dispute against mine. But okay, so for my gratification, this is the only selfish thing I'm going to do during this recording. By the way, we're recording on some brand new mics. Love these.
Digging them.
So you now agree with me in the stance that I had last year, that while it was hot, that Cody should have won last year, right?
No.
Oh, but you just said it.
No, because I still stand by it. It was a bold move. It was a bold strategy, Cotton. It was very bold for them to do the unprojected thing. It's got to be the hardest thing in the world to book for wrestling fandom. We have to be the most fickle fan base in the universe, because even when you give us what we want, we're still not happy. We're still like, yeah, but it could have been this. Like, we all thought we wanted Cody last year. We all thought we wanted. They did. Those uneducated masses wanted Cody last year.
Wait, before that, I didn't mean to cut you off, even though that's clearly what I did.
Fine.
But what I will say is, in kind of defense for that, we thought or we wanted Cody to win last year.
Yeah.
Nobody could have foretold that a year later that Cody would be even bigger than he was last year.
Right, and that's the genius of it. They actually gave him his own hard time story.
So you think that this was by design? If this was by design, then what Hunter was saying last year, was it last year when he said that we're in the third inning?
Yeah, it was last year.
This was by design. Kudos to you all, because you got me hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, it was by design last year. They knew that they had something really red hot with the bloodline. It was cinema. It was the term everyone was using. It was the one I was using. It was the one everyone was using. I think what happens is that this creative team is so special because they're able to recreate magic in waning moments. Like, we can admit that WrestleMania was the crux. It was the pinnacle of last year.
Okay.
Night 1 and Night 2 was stellar. They were both just great, memorable moments. Mm-hmm. However, let's be honest. When Roman left after Mania, it took a hit. Roman being around to propel the Bloodline story forward is crucial. In those months that he wasn't there. Now, I liked Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico. I thought it was freaking great.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought Brock Lesnar and the man whose name shall not be named now. I thought him and Cody's feud was fabulous.
Okay.
I think the rise of Dominic Mysterio was something very special, but it hurt not having Roman around. And then when you finally got him at Money in the Bank, that felt big. Mm. That tag match that Jay pinned Roman, that felt strong. But then SummerSlam came. And SummerSlam, I was like, is Jay blood begets blood? Is Jay the one to break the streak? Okay, I could deal with it. 2 birds in 1 stone. You make Jay a superstar, and Roman goes out putting over his family. But when they got to the tribal chiefdom part of it, if you remember, they were doing tribal combat. I was excited for the possibility of it. I thought we were going to get, judges and chiefs and all this stuff. And it was just a glorified fucking no DQ match. And it was bad. When he left after that, it took a hit again. So when Roman's not around to propel the Bloodline story, it really hurts them. But this is the magic of Roman, and this is the magic of the creative team. When he does show up and come back, all's forgotten almost instantly. It's like, we're right back in it, man. We're right back in the game. And the game, like last year, I was saying, okay, we got to end the bloodline. End it now. Because
of course.
Yes, I was being fickle. I was like, you know what? In the summer months, I was like, it's time. End it at Survivor Series. Just dismantle it. And then what happened? It was by design. We got a humongous star in Jey Uso. Solo, we got his ascension, which, I'll be honest, Solo doesn't set the world on fire for me. And
should Solo be wrestling at WrestleMania?
Yeah, he should, but I don't think he's going to be in the bloodline come WrestleMania. I don't even think Jimmy's going to be in the bloodline come WrestleMania. I think it's just going to be Rock, Roman, and the Wise Man. I really do. But there's so much going on in WWE right now. Last year around this time, well, not last year, at some point, I forget where, I can't pinpoint it, LA Knight became a megastar last year during the summer months and leading up to now. There's so many moving parts and pieces that it is such a damn good time to be a WWE fan. I don't want to say a wrestling fan, because that would imply that every company's on all major cylinders right now. Fortunately, AEW is taking some hits, and they need to get their shit together.
You said fortunately?
I said unfortunately. AEW is taking some hits, and they need to get their shit together badly. But NXT's been fantastic.
Consistently, they've been fantastic. They've always been fantastic.
Yeah, it's just everything is killing it right now. But this new hybrid of what I think is the Rock's brainchild of the form of telling sports entertainment with the peeling back of the curtain more than usual, and this more realism storytelling. What they did, I watched the press conference live last week.
Okay.
I think that was the greatest moment I've seen so far in 2024 for wrestling. That press conference, and I use quotations, that should have been a throwaway. That was like a PLE in itself, how they set that up.
That was... I have a moment in wrestling that I have a press conference to debate that statement for, but no, I get it, because it definitely was entertaining, and it drove home. If you were there live on the ride home, what you're talking about is the excitement that oh wow. What's going to happen now with The Rock and Roman?
We are always, again, we're fickle fans, like Bryan Danielson used to say. Fickle. And what they did was open up like 4 different lanes. You normally have a projected path for Mania. Now, projected doesn't mean bad. It doesn't. Like, I'll stand by it. I said it tonight. Becky Rhea has to happen. It's the most obvious. It's projected. But the stare down at the press conference, the promo she gave, the fire, it's the match that you want to see. You want to see it before you don't get a chance to see it.
Okay.
And we know that that's the case. We know Nia's not winning against Rhea in Perth. There's no way. Okay? We know basically Becky's going to win the chamber. But does that mean it's bad? No. It just means that that's that storyline.
They're on the collision course.
That's their collision course. Thank you. This is a different animal. This is something we've never seen before. We talked about this in the car off mic. We said if it was under the old regime of the old man, we would be getting Rock Roman.
Yes.
With the crowd shitting all over it. We'd be getting it. Why? Because fuck you, pal. That's why. We'd be getting it. Because the stubbornness and pigheadedness and the inability to pivot and listen to the audience. True. He wouldn't give a shit. He'd push it through your throat.
Very true.
But Triple H and The Rock, don't kid yourself. These people going, oh, Triple H is a genius. Listen, this goes to Dwayne Johnson, too.
For being able to make that pivot?
To make this pivot, to understand the audience enough to say, yeah, you know what? I'm better off being booed right now and leaning into it.
Yeah.
And, you know, this new hybrid of, is it real? Is it kayfabe? Listen, they knew what they were doing when they brought out the stupid fucking family tree. They knew that was going to draw nothing but boos. I mean, that was like the equivalent of being in a social studies class with a very boring professor, and you just didn't want to hear it. Not that I don't respect the NOIE family tree, because who the hell doesn't? But it was all by design, so brilliant. Because even the choices of words used by The Rock, when he said there's only one royal family in wrestling, they're the opening words to Cody's song. There's more than one royal family in wrestling. Like the way that he attacked him on all levels. And then the realism factor of them throwing F-bombs everywhere, including, white meat babyface Cody coming out going, bullshit.
You got to say with the lift.
The only thing I couldn't figure out was how extra The Rock got with that response. When he was like, you're talking about my blood. Like, he got so over the top extra with him just saying they'd be ashamed of you. I was like, he's got to be a heel. When you left the press conference and he slapped the taste out of Cody's mouth, you knew that you knew The Rock was full-blown heel. I'm like, they can't play a tweener now. Now he's a full-blown heel. And then all the stuff that they did, all the nuance of like filming The Rock walking out with Roman, doing the accidental walk by Triple H and getting in his face. All that stuff is great. They called into the part where Seth was like, I don't give a shit if you're on the board. You can't just come in here and do whatever the hell you want. And The Rock's like, oh yeah, I can. They're not shying away from the stuff we know behind the scenes. Where Vince McMahon was always very, very hesitant to give you peel behind the curtain.
I disagree with that. I think Vince McMahon was the person that exposed his business more than any Smark.
Exposed might be a word that he's very well using. But what I'm saying is he wasn't one to give you booking decisions, people on boards and things like that, where they're playing into the fact that The Rock's the boss. We know he's the boss. And they're not shying away from anything, and it's going to be a great ride. I love what he said. He's like, just shut up and let The Rock take you on the ride.
Well, yeah,
take you, man.
I agree. I agree with that to a certain extent because, like, we actually have that over on the TBS and TNT side. Only they're actual professional wrestlers / sports entertainers who worked in the industry and drew a lot of money. Yeah. I.e. The Rock and Triple H versus Tony Khan. Right. Tony's really a fan.
He's a fan
who's now
with very deep pockets.
Yes. Who is now a booker and
which is tragedy,
and an owner of his own.
It's tragedy. I love Tony. I'm glad we're pivoting. Speaking of pivoting, look at AEW 4 years ago when we went to. No, I guess it would be close to 5 now. When we went to the second Dynamite ever.
Yes.
God, the feeling of fresh and new and exciting and groundbreaking and different.
It's what everyone was calling for. At that time, I think
it was
we as wrestling fans, and for you all listening, I want you to chime in the comment section and tell me whether or not you agree with this. But we were clamoring for we needed a change in the guard. We needed an alternative because I believe the same year Raw in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, sometime in 2019, somebody had that I don't remember the date. Let me know in the comments. Yep. But wasn't that the date professional wrestling died? Yep. That Raw from Milwaukee, Wisconsin was so terrible. They said this sport is over. So then you had all in, right? Yeah, all in Chicago.
All in May.
It was in Chicago. Yeah,
State.
All in Chicago. Essentially a pay-per-view that was
self-funded. It was
self-funded.
It was a Kickstarter pay-per-view.
There you go. Perfect. A Kickstarter pay-per-view. The names, some of the indie darlings and former ROH wrestlers that we knew and love. And I believe Cody and Dustin. You had the Rhodes brothers.
Yeah, you had Stephen Amell.
Yeah, like it had credible names, credible talent, and guys were getting chances. It was the first. It was a lot of them's their first time on syndicated television, so we were happy about it, right? We were absolutely elated.
We were elated.
We went to the second show. Come on, the opening match stole the show.
God, the whole night was great. You had a feeling of this is new. This is a changing of a guard. This is a new regime. This is a new era.
It was a breath of fresh air.
But you know what the thing is? Now I think about it. That was a Vince McMahon helmed WWE from top to bottom. It was in the limping stages of its worst. Had we been getting the Triple H era that we've been treated to for the past 3.5 years, do you think AEW would have been as big a deal?
Yes and no. I think
I have to say I don't think it would have made as big a splash.
I think. Well, what happened? It shook the grounds of WWE when they were signing all of these erroneous contracts allegedly.
Yep.
And then when they realized what the competition looked like, they started cutting everybody.
So it was rattling the cages.
Yeah. So then it became a fire sale of talent.
Right.
Whereas what AEW was doing the first time, oh, you guys are missing this visual. Joey Business just strung his dog one. Oh, hey, listen, that's why we're gonna have to transition to y'all seeing us because the microphone is just not enough. That was an excellent visual. But as I was saying, so AEW once was, the opportunity for all of your indie wrestling all-stars and some really great ones. Like I think AEW, I love AEW for giving a platform to Eddie Kingston. I don't think WWE does that. So they have their purpose. But when they started, I mean, look, the 2021 or 22,
22 I think was when it started crumbling a little bit.
But the December 2021 promo from MJF really said a lot. When
the one where he got taken off the air.
Yes.
When he says because he's hoarding all the money for the ex-WWE guys.
Yes.
He's 100% right. So I think they did great jobs on some of their pickups. Like you had Punk. I mean, no. Yeah, you had Punk.
That was the biggest one.
That was amazing. But then that one pay-per-view, what was it called? Full Gear. The end of it where Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson debuted the same night. That was stellar.
Yes.
But then what happens is when you have moments like that, those are special. But when you just start opening your checkbook and doing a WCW and signing everybody who gets released from every company, it starts losing its luster. You're throwing everybody, you're just grabbing up talent. You're hoarding talent. And what sucked was...
Wait a minute. I want to actually elaborate more on that thought right there, what you just said. So there have been great great AEW signings from WWE, and there's been excessive ones. Who would you consider an excessive one?
You mean like who wasn't needed?
Yes.
Let me think.
Because you can honestly make an argument that every signing was legit a game changer.
Yeah.
How they were booked.
Paige. I mean, Saraya. I mean, I wanted
That's
her.
excessive?
Tony Storm, I think. Well, no, Tony Storm's proven wrong.
Tony's, yep.
No, a lot of them have been fabulous signings. And I don't think excessive to the point. But what the issue is, you're signing people with no direction. You don't have a clear-cut direction for these guys. And look at Swerve Strickland. Thank God.
Yep.
Organically, he's been able to get over through his work rate and just giving opportunity. It certainly ain't the fucking creative behind him. It's him getting over despite creative.
Yes.
He is a success story beyond success stories right now in my eyes. He is your champ for 2024 for AEW. He will be champion at some point. Do I think he's going to win it at Revolution? No. I think they're going to give Joe a longer reign. I think he's thrown in the mix in the three-way so that there'll be at least a way to say Swerve wasn't beaten. give him a shot again down the road.
Or listen, that could be the transition they use to put the belt on Swerve.
It could be.
Hey, Joe wasn't beaten. This is what we have Hangman in here for.
It could be. It really could be. But like, they have so much talent. Look at MJF. Could have been a WWE killer. I said it so long. When they put that belt on him, they strapped the rocket on him. Man, it was must-see TV all the time. The friendship between Adam Cole and MJF angle was just wonderful. And then they peaked at All Out. I feel like that was the last good AEW show that I've seen top to bottom. Was All Out. Was great. We watched it, with my friends. We enjoyed it. It was a great show. Joe and Punk was really great.
Yep.
Adam Cole and MJF was a WrestleMania caliber main event. It was good all the way through. They haven't had anything like that since. You had, what was the pay-per-view that Wrestle Kingdom? No, I don't know, Wrestlepalooza, whatever the fuck it was that Adam Copeland debuted. WrestleFest? I forget what it was called. But that was a so-so pay-per-view saved by a very, provocative ending. And I told you, Adam Copeland could have been there, Hulk Hogan. That could have been the changing of the tide for them. And look what they've done. They threw him together with Christian.
Which I think is phenomenal television.
Which was
wrestling.
It's run its course now.
Of course. The man says it's run its course. If you win the belt on Friday, he wants the belt off of you Sunday at breakfast.
Listen, what are you doing for for Christian, I know what you're doing, and he's a great champion. But what are you doing for Adam Copeland by just jobbing him out over and over again to Christian?
Well,
what are you doing?
Well, I think you're building Christian to be your top heel.
He's definitely your top heel.
Yeah.
With MJF gone, he's your top heel.
His mic work is impeccable. Could you imagine those two together?
Yeah.
A program with those two together? How's your father doing?
Yeah.
And then to have heel MJF come on top of that, that would be great.
I mean, MJF could have been the WWE killer. That the night where he turned on Regal and he used the email that Regal used on him after he made his mission statement as champion. Oh, just great stuff. And MJF was, I would call him the MVP of last year wrestling wise. I mean, the man didn't put on bad matches. Even the Fatal 4-Way match was fabulous. Like everything except for the match he lost the title in. World's End was horrible. But it wasn't.
NDA.
It wasn't his fault because he was legit injured, and it was just a bad match. It was just bad.
And look what they've done with that group since. So you have a group that that cost MJF the title.
Yeah.
And now, I think Wardlow is WWE ready. Like they,
I don't care about Wardlow at all. He does nothing for me.
He has Wardlow with great booking is a WrestleMania main event waiting to happen.
Yeah, maybe against Braun Breaker. I mean, listen, I just think what Triple H has been able to do. Now we're going back. What Triple H has been able to do in 4+ years, the slow changing of the guard, now fully the keys to the kingdom. It's night and day from what we were getting. I'd argue in some spots it's better than the Attitude Era ever was. I will. I would say there are some shining points like the Bloodline and, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens last year, that push. LA Knight, Logan Paul. The stuff we're getting is just Rhea. Judgment Day. I mean, they're just killing it. Everything is like, this is what wrestling should be. This is what makes me love wrestling. Like, I choked it down in the, 2017, 2018, and 2019. I choked it down because I'm a wrestling fan.
Right.
But Raw in Milwaukee, yeah. God. It was just like when you're like, life is too short to be watching some of this shit. It was so bad. But, we're getting treated to so much things. What I'm excited for is a WrestleMania that me as a Smark truly has absolutely no idea where that main event scene is going. I don't know what we're getting. There's the smart in me that thinks they've mentioned WrestleMania 1 too many times, but the 40th main event, the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, that we are going to get a tag match, mega power tag match of some kind somewhere on the card. I do think you're going to get The Rock and Roman in a tag match against Cody and Seth on one of the nights. Absolutely.
Oh, well.
But maybe there's an added stipulation. Maybe what Rock was talking about tonight, that he's going to do everything in his power to not let Cody walk out at Mania. Maybe, just hear me out, Donnie, your match night 1, your main event will be Rock and Roman versus Cody and one of his choosing, probably Seth, or Seth gets taken out, injured. If Cody wins the match, he gets the shot at his story the next night.
He's already won the Royal Rumble.
But he's already won it, and it's been booked, but The Rock also has the power. So The Rock could throw a monkey wrench and be like, if you win against both of us, you get your opportunity.
How do you veto the Royal Rumble winner?
Because he's The Rock. That's why. And, take a chicken McNugget and shove it up your butt. And then if we win, we get Roman versus Rock. And you throw things into chaos. But you're going to get Cody.
You sound like Tony Khan right now.
I'm telling you right now.
You sound like Tony Khan
right now. I think there's so many ways for them to go.
After today's promo, how would you justify that other main event, the other half of that? If we beat you, Cody, and whoever you pick,
right, we
get Roman and The Rock when they're officially the super bloodline.
I know. I mean, I don't know. And the other thing is, like, how do you do it without Seth looking like even more of a neutered champion?
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the world heavyweight champion.
Yeah, yep. I mean, hey, listen, even the underling belt looks kind of good. I'm not gonna lie. But the last video that we posted, and it'll likely be on the previews towards the end of this video, I addressed this. Right, I talk about Seth Rollins. I'm a huge fan of Seth Rollins and how he's being made to look. I jokingly called this belt here, and I know you can't see it, but the World Heavyweight belt, the underling belt, and I did it because it was won from a vacant. It was
a championship that was made out of thin air.
It's the inaugural, even though they've had a Raw champion before.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I said, if Roman beat the man who beat the man.
Right.
And he did it twice. He beat the champion. He's the lineal champion.
Yes, he is.
That's the only champion that I want to acknowledge. Everybody else is underneath him. But even more so now, how they're booking this. How does Seth not look like the underling champion?
He looks like an underling champion. I finally have to fucking concede. At first I was like, no, opening up shows doesn't hurt him because we have, multiple titles, so you can everything he does
on the post, not on the poster, but on the TV ad. And I even referenced this in that video. In the front and center is Roman and The Rock.
Yeah.
You have Bianca Belair, I think Drew McIntyre, but on the far left is
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins with with what belt?
That belt. I know.
The underling belt.
I don't like the way that I get it from a kayfabe standpoint that your Roman's trying to get under your skin or whatever, but everything they do is just minimizing the belt. Yes. To the fact that Cody doesn't even want the belt is minimizing the belt.
Yes. How is a world champion going in saying that you need to finish the story? I'm a world champion, but I'm endorsing you fighting the other world champion from the other show, saying bring it home for us.
This is where the interesting has come in. The WWE has been forced to back up on their heels and come up with something new that we've never seen before. Because let's face it, had Punk not torn his tricep,
CM Punk,
we would be getting Punk versus Rollins. We would absolutely be getting Punk versus Rollins. Would we be getting this wrinkle of The Rock? I don't think so at all.
Probably not.
The Rock was an audible that was called.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
To combat the fact, well, let's face it.
Isn't Seth hurt too right now, though?
Huh?
Seth is hurt right now, right?
Yeah. So let's just face it. Let's put the cards on the table and be honest. The Rock is twofold. You know, as Seth referred to him as the beast with two heads. The Rock is twofold. The Rock was, one, brought in to fill gaps from the fact that Punk injury really put some wind out of their sails. And two, he was brought in, number one, to get Vince's damn name off the headlines.
Breaking news.
And that's what they did.
Breaking news. You wanted to know where it's coming? I mean,
yeah. What? Oh, okay. You actually got broken news?
Okay. Well, it looks like if not Seth, Seth is going to find a way to be involved in this match. But Rock, Roman, Cody, and John Cena.
I was thinking that.
I'm sorry, I just made that up. That's not breaking. That's all kayfabe.
Yeah.
I just made that up. I just wanted to throw something in.
To be funny, it's funny, but is it out of the realm of possibility to have John Cena in a tag match with Cody Rhodes?
Oh God, I get it. I definitely get it, and
I wouldn't be mad at it at all.
Yeah, you know what? Like I'm that the promos would be great. I mean, just for the build up,
just alone, for the references.
I would love to.
Because
see
honestly, I don't want to see another debacle of Austin Theory versus John Cena last year. That was terrific. First of all, you beat him in front of a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids. Like, come on, man. But no, I don't have. My dog is just. He's on the hunt for whatever.
He sure is. Yep, and he sure is.
Listen, it's just an exciting time to be a fan. When was the last time that you could honestly say, I can't wait for the next week? I can't wait for SmackDown. I can't wait for Raw. What's Cody going to say on Raw now? Like, I can't wait. The Super Bloodline. What's Cody going to do? Like, I mean, it's just so interesting and exciting.
It's like diss records and rap. You know, you just want to hear the rebuttal.
Oh, God.
But now, but what?
That was tragic. I listened to that stupid diss record, by the way.
What I would like to see is a focus on the wrestling. Yes, Brady, I understand that you love your toys.
Come on.
You love your toys. You love your toys. Ladies and gentlemen, drop a like on this video for the SmarkTank Revolution mascot.
The dog is damn cute, by the way. You guys be like, wow, that's a cute ass
for the dog. We gotta give him a t-shirt. But you know what? I'm gonna wrap up my thoughts with this.
Okay. I'm going to have to take that out of his mouth. Otherwise.
I'm going to say...
Bastard. He's doubling down.
Oh, wow. Oh, hey, listen. Yeah, this is... Hey, listen. We might have to book you two for WrestleMania.
Yeah. Jesus.
But what I'll say is this.
I'm sorry.
What I shall say is this. I'm going to try this the third time. Look, I have no idea where they're going with this main event. I'm going to stay off the dirt sheets. I'm going to stay off any spoilers.
Do you know I've been doing that? I mean, I'll check 411 once in a great while.
So you're enjoying this ride.
I am loving the ride. The Rock said it the best. Shut up and enjoy the ride I'm taking you on.
You know what?
We are going somewhere.
I will acquiesce to that because I enjoy being in the dark right now.
Listen, what's great too is like, we'll expound upon this just a little bit more. The WWE's in on the joke, too. They've been pushing "We Want Cody" hashtag signs. The moment after they did the Cody Crybabies thing, The Rock went on McAfee. Do you think it was accident that The Rock, the day of the press conference, went on Pat McAfee and brought up the Cody Crybabies?
No. I think
they knew.
Yeah, no, or which I hope. I'm not going to give them that much credit to say that they knew. I think that they called an audible, and this is
they
all
called
the
an audible
plan.
After that SmackDown. I don't think they expected The Rock and Roman stare down to get the lukewarm response it got. But the crowd there live, I mean, it's The Rock. You haven't seen him in forever, and he comes out to fucking stand against Roman Reigns at the end of that SmackDown.
We just seen him.
No, where Cody seemingly steps aside. And remember, I told you, that was the weirdest bit of booking I've ever seen. I want to finish my story. But not at WrestleMania.
Listen,
that was so strange.
That was the last pages of the notebook, though, Vince McMahon's.
It was. There was something odd about it.
And They
played you.
Yes,
they played it. They played it great.
They've rebounded perfectly.
But they did not. When you saw that thing come out that said this is the most unliked video in WWE history, 200,000 dislikes, I was like, shit. That's a lot of dislikes.
Well, the fans have spoken.
And unlike years past, with Daniel Bryan, where they dug their
Here we go.
Where they dug their heels in. They dug their heels in. They dug their heels in and just reluctantly gave Bryan the win at Mania 30 because they were going forward with Bautista versus Randy Orton, hardcore, thinking like this is what the fans really want.
Right.
That's what we would have got. That would have been the approach this year had Vince McMahon still been in charge. We'd be getting Rock Roman. You'd like it. There'd be no Cody Crybabies. It would be The Rock as the most forced white meat baby face of all time that would be getting booed to shit. And that Philly crowd would eat them alive.
No.
Triple H is smart enough. The report that I read was Triple H said, Rock, you got to read the room. Because The Rock didn't want to go heel at first. He goes, Rock, you got to read the room. I'll be honest with you. Like, Cody's white hot right now. The fans are in his corner. Mm-hmm. We want this to be successful. You got to read the room.
Yep.
And then Rock said, fine, let's do it. And he listened to Brian Gewirtz, who is his head writer. And he's been around for Vince forever. So it was a stroke of genius that the WWE created something at that press conference. You want to hear how good that press conference was? This is the thing that got me. It was on Super Bowl weekend. Mm-hmm. The going into Super Bowl weekend, Thursday. More talk was about that press conference than the Super Bowl. On ESPN, on all major networks, TMZ, everywhere. They were like, oh yeah, and also there's the game on Sunday. Because that's how big it was. In Las Vegas, it stole the Super Bowl's thunder.
Wow.
That's special.
I didn't know it was on ESPN.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
Wow.
That's special.
Yeah.
So, like I said, sit down, shut up, enjoy the ride. We'll have our thoughts on it. As always, we appreciate you guys. Every new subscriber, every old subscriber.
Yes.
And the people who might likely to subscribe, give us a whirl. We're going to be bringing you more content more often. Donnie and I will be getting together a little bit more frequently because we do need to, and you guys deserve it. And then we're working our way to video. We've been saying it for quite a while. We're just trying to figure out the logistics of it. But this is fun. And I can't wait to see what's next.
Indeed.